Hi guys, my name is Kory Ahern. I've been with Fellowship White Rock since the very beginning, and I've been with the Fellowship community as a whole for about a year and a half now. And I want to share with you my journey with Jesus Christ. I grew up on the West Coast, more specifically in California, where the most popular thing right now is moving away from Christianity. There's an openness for pretty much every religion and belief system except for Christianity right now. Christianity is putting it as the underdog is an understatement. That's a nice way of putting it. And I grew up to be a product of that environment, through and through. As a child, I was raised to a point where when I was making my own decisions in adolescence, I was lustful, I was greedy, I was lazy, I was out for myself, I was using my own friends against each other to get to the top of this social pile that somehow defines the Californian experience now. And when you get to the top of that, when you get to the top of this dog pile of people just fighting each other to get to the top, not only are you alone at the top, you're also very empty. And when you're empty, you try and fill it up with this sort of empty substance of just more stuff, none of it good. Eventually that whole lifestyle started to come to a head when I started engaging in the most toxic relationships of my life. And worst of all, I was getting into these relationships by using Christian mentoring, taking our Father's Word and flipping it around and using it to manipulate people into these toxic relationships with me. To the point where I ended up moving from California, ending up in Washington on an island, alone, isolated, alienated, as all these toxic relationships crumbled in on top of me. I got crushed by the mass of this empty life. And I was sitting alone on a rooftop on October 3rd, 2004, and I finally accepted that if my life had come to such a low point, then I'd clearly never done anything right in my life in those 17 years that it took me to get to that point. The good news was that before I even knew him by name, the Lord called me that day and walked me into a new lifestyle that I'm proud to say I have been adhering to ever since. Before I even knew the story of the cross, of Jesus Christ, of the Holy Spirit, of the quest that God embarked on to save us from ourselves, on that day, before I knew any of that, I left my old life at the foot of the cross. I'm happy to say that from there, I spent a few years in Washington really educating myself on everything that the Father does for us, on everything that our relationship with Him is. I went back to California and faced that old lifestyle and found out that you don't have to sell out to have a happy life, and as a matter of fact, you have a much better life not doing any of that and saying goodbye to that lifestyle and just praying about it and hoping for it to work itself out but not participating in it at all. And now I'm proud to say that I'm in Texas serving with Fellowship White Rock, joining the church on a mutual journey to serve the kingdom in a very tangible, palpable way that leaves room for the Father to be seen in other lives just like it was seen in mine.